Thanks so much for having me. I'm Melissa. I'm co-founder and CEO of Alma Care. Get through these here. I'm going to share a little bit about my story and how I built Alma Care, and draw some parallels that'll be pretty obvious to you here in the audience about building a family and building a business. And I guess the TLDR is that you can't do it alone. Although I do like to make the joke that my husband actually wasn't in the room when I did get pregnant because we went through IVF, but still not, not quite the same. In any case, you really can't build a business alone, and nor can you raise a family. And it was with that insight, and that's truly, the source of growth for us, is the engine behind me as an entrepreneur and my family. So my story started, as was mentioned, having my first daughter back in 2022. Pretty standard family building story. Some bumps in the road with IVF, but then got there to a successful birth. I was very well prepared. I knew exactly what onesies she was going to wear coming out of the hospital. I knew exactly where the snoo was going to be. I had all of the gadgets, but I had no idea how to take care of myself. And it became very apparent in a short matter of time that there is more care that is required for moms after giving birth. There's, in this system, for those, there's so many from outside of Canada in North America, but so your cultures are probably doing it better than us. Here, it's just simply a 6-week check-in for mom. So there's very little community built around mom's recovery, and a lot less focus put on that. So recognizing that there was a massive gap, I started to look, to my friends, my family. You guys have had kids. Why didn't you tell me about this? I had no idea. Why was I so blindsided? And I quickly learned that it's about 1 in 4 women experiencing postpartum depression, and less than a third of them receive treatment. What that means is, they are going at it alone. They're taking on this brand new chapter. Many without families, very different than our parents who had generational homes, who had younger parents who were supporting them, built-in communities to support their journeys. Now, in this day and age, it's just simply not that. So trying to understand, of course, there's this glaring gap that exists today for women who are navigating the family building journey. And of course, what's the solution? So we look to community. Women who receive strong postpartum care are 60% less likely to experience postpartum depression. And that, again, is all about that community, building in that support, that engine to keep her driving, to educate her, to support her, to hold her during a time when she needs it most. Very similar to, those who are building businesses. And that became my why. That became the vision. How are we going to solve this? What does strong support look like for moms? Because we know that it's not just the impact of the mom or the business or the entrepreneur. It's the ripple effect that they're going to have and the impact that they can make. And if this is the impact that I could make by building this business, it's something that can drive me every single day. So what our strong postpartum support looks like, similar to building a business, is, again, community. This is just a snapshot of some of the incredible, experienced care team members that we have that deliver that holistic care to moms, that hold them, that educate them and support them through that very important journey, and who provide their expertise. They're the ones who are a listening ear. They're telling them how to navigate a sleepless night, what kind of nutrition, how to fuel themselves, very similar to the way community supports entrepreneurs. And in terms of driving that impact, I guess, we see it here. We can see just how much we are delivering for our families that we touch. When they say, I cannot overstate the impact of Alma's postnatal care on my experience as a second-time mom. They've been there, they've done it before, and they recognize the vast difference that they've had. I should mention, too, that as an entrepreneur, I had my first daughter in 2022. I had my second daughter 11 months ago. So raising a family while building this business was no small feat, and got to dog food, Alma. Not everyone's going to get to do that in a postpartum business, and it was nothing to do with my shareholders, hoping that I would. I did it willingly, and happily have an 11-month-old beautiful daughter. But building that business during that time was incredibly difficult. Again, I'd gone through it the first time. I experienced, just how challenging it can be when you're isolated, when you're trying to go at it alone. But then bring in a community and put in the right support structure, help me understand exactly what the future could look like, what goals we're working towards. And the outcomes are just wildly different. Probably controversial to say that I didn't take a maternity leave after having my second daughter. And I can tell you that I feel stronger mentally and physically because I had the village around me to support me during that time. This is a little bit of a brag. What we're building, people give a shit about. It's the impact that we're making. It's, I felt it myself. I know it. We hear our clients saying it. You put the support in place and they will thrive. And to no one's surprise, that's gaining traction. People want to see this type of community built around new moms, whether you're in the workplace or building a business or not. Also a bit of a brag. So again, I mentioned, building this business while building my family after my first, through that lived experience, and then dog fooding the second. Really, really proud of the results that we were able to achieve. And again, I could not have done this without community, without people who were behind me sponsoring my success, motivating me to drive harder, giving me energy when I myself had experienced a sleepless night. And helping really drive the vision for Alma. So for me, I drive it all back to impact, again, and community. When women or entrepreneurs receive strong support, there is undeniable outcomes that will be improved for them. And it's probably no surprise to everyone here because, of course, you are here building your community. You're looking to those for that support. You cannot do it alone. I can't do it alone. Whether you're a mom or an entrepreneur, building your community will absolutely lead to better outcomes.
Any questions? Questions? Do we have runners to get the questions? Okay.
Thanks. That was really informative. I'm not a parent, but my cousin's wives just gave birth, and I was wondering, is this available outside of Toronto?
Thank you for asking. We are available right across Ontario right now.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much for just going through this incredible journey with Alma Care. I worked in postpartum depression for 2 years, so thank you so much for all of the work that you do. It's really exciting to see the traction, especially. So I wanted to ask, what does Alma Care look like in the next year or the next 5 years?
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for the work that you do. It's work that touches everyone, of course. For me, it's gaining access. So access means, we initially started as a retreat that could support a very small group of families, and quickly growing that to touch more families, to make sure that we could provide access to this level of care right across the province. So within about a year, we've grown from just Toronto to GTA to entire province. We plan to, in a very short period of time, be right across Canada, and working with employers to offer greater access through benefits so that more families can have this level of care.
One more question. Thanks so much. I'm curious how you track and measure outcomes with your clients.
Yeah, there are mental health surveys that can be tracked and scored, like the PHQ-9. And we encourage our families to complete those, or our moms to complete those forms, and share those outcomes. So that's one way we do that. We also do weekly check-ins with them to understand how they're tracking towards their goals, so that we're constantly, as the journey changes from day to day or week to week, that we're right there with them, supporting them wherever they need to be.
I'm going to jump in with a question. You mentioned you got a dog food, the product. So it was, I guess, you were already building the product. How did that change your perspective on building it, or what the product should be?
Oh, yeah, great question. It changed a lot. I had a lot of notes, of course. And at the time, we had two, very distinct product lines, one being the retreat and one being at home. And I think the in-home care and the accessibility, and again, thinking about how can we create this greater impact, being able to scale at a rate and feeling the impact delivered in-home just made it so clear for me that that was the future. And then there was a number of other, obviously benefits that aligned with our growth targets, like scalability through employer benefits as well.
Cool. Thank you. Can I get a round of applause?